Hello there. Welcome once again to another session. Um, DCIT 103 Office Productivity Tools. We began our journey in Word. The course is moving concurrently. I'm not handling this course alone. I'm sure some of you have met Mr. Joseph Klu and you're going to meet Mr. Yatebri. Great. So I'm focusing, then we'll come away again in the integration bits when all these three applications come to play or come to work together. All right, so I'm sure you have also made progress with your assignment, and I'll encourage you to continue to do so. In this session, we're going to talk about formatting text and paragraphs with Word 2019. Formatting text paragraphs with Word 2019. Few things we are going to look at will include using the Format Painter, one of my favorite tools in Microsoft Office Word, working with tabs, adding borders and shadings, inserting a table, inserting and deleting rows and columns, and applying a table style. It won't end there. There are a few more. We will look at inserting online pictures, right? Sizing and scaling of a graphic, drawing format shapes, how we use all these tools. And then we'll talk about arranging graphic objects on the document and then creating smart graphics. So pretty much this is going to be what we're going to discuss throughout this particular session, and I hope it comes in handy for you. Okay, so without much ado, we'll hit the nail on the head. Don't forget, once again, the presentation is going to be a mixture of the slide and an actual demonstration so that we fall in line with exactly what we are learning, right? Okay, so we'll begin with using the Format Painter. It's quite straightforward and pretty simple. When you want to deal with font styles, you make text darker and thicker by applying bold. When you want to slant text, you apply what referred to as italic. And when you want to underline, the text basically for emphasis. These are styles that we can make mention of. However, if you want to use Format Painter, it will allow you to copy all those format settings which you have applied to a text to other text. Let me show you how this is done. Okay, so I'm opening a blank document, as you can see. We input a random text as usual to use for our demonstrations. Now what we're saying here is this: if I have this portion selected, let's say I select this word provide, right? I make this bold. I probably even change the font size so that it stands out and looks big, as you can see. And then I underline it, basically because I want it to have some level of emphasis. And then I italicize it using the italic tool. Okay, now if for any reason I need to repeat the same formatting, once again, don't get it twisted. Editing is different from formatting. If I need to format another text, say insert here, to look the same as what we have here as provide, I may have to come back here, select the font size, bolden it, italics it, and then underline it before it will look similar to this or the same. This is what Format Painter seeks to do. We're saying that it allows you to copy the format setting applied to a selected text to other text. So what we do is that I will just select this particular text, select the Format Painter from this section of from the menu toolbar, or I'll go to the clipboard group on the home tab and then select the Format Painter. It's the one that looks like a brush, okay? The brush. So I select it, and then I get the Format Painter, appearance on the mouse, on the cursor, whatever you want to call it. And then I come to the insert, the portion of the text where I want to replicate the same formatting. I click and drag, and then I release. And you notice that provides looks the same as this. It's actually as simple as that. As simple as ABCD, as somebody would say. As simple as ABCD. I don't think this was anything difficult. Okay? Right. So, what do we do with tabs? You heard me mention the home tab, the file tab, the insert tab, and so on and so forth. Those are tabs that enables us to select one toolbar from the other. However, there's another tab that we are going to discuss. So let me just demonstrate this so that you don't get it twisted. Right. Now, this we have here is the home tab. This is the insert tab. This is the draw tab. This is the design tab. And each of them unveils a set of tools on the ribbon that has one way or the other effects on the content or object on your Word document window. These are tabs, as you may know, but this is not the tab we are talking about. The tab we are referring to is a point on the horizontal ruler. Okay? The tab we are talking about is a point on the horizontal ruler that identifies a text alignment location. So, the text alignment location we are referring to, you would notice that all these texts are not going beyond the end of the margin. This is where it starts. Even if I hit the return key or the enter key, the insertion point starts from the same position as the first character. This is the point horizontally where the next input can take place. Now, if for any reason I wish to indent the first paragraph, for example, then the tab key comes in handy. So what you can do is just hit the tab key at the beginning of the text of your interest, and then it taps in. You can push a whole paragraph also in by way of using the tab stop. So any next text that will follow the stopping position of the text. And once you indent on the horizontal ruler that identifies a text, you notice that there is a change or a shift in the location of the start point on the ruler. And that is exactly what we are talking about. So this is how the tab works. It's pretty simple and straightforward. There are other forms of it which you can acquaint yourself with. You can see them in the reading assignment if you have completed them. So we have different types of these tabs. You know, they have different looks and feels, as you can see from them. If you look closely, you notice the tab stop that I am creating for this particular text that I have here, and they have different purposes. Okay, so when you see them anywhere, what are they? What do we mean by these various symbols? We have the left tab, the center tab, the right tab, the decimal tab, and then the bar tab. In my ton of experience in Microsoft Office Word, I have not had the use for some of these tabs, but it's important you get to know so that you can apply them. So you set the start position of the text so that the text runs to the right of the tab stop as you type, and that is for the left tab, and similar to the center. So the adjectives will definitely qualify the kind of tab we are actually dealing with. So this shouldn't come to you as news. You adjust accordingly. Now we can add borders and shading to text, and this can help to enhance the information in a document. So what would we say is a border? A border is pretty simple. A line that is added above, below, to the side of or around words of paragraph or paragraphs. We can have shading as well, which is the color or pattern that is added behind words or paragraphs. And then we have border buttons or shading button in the paragraph group, which we can also identify from the home tab. So if we are to apply this to the text that we're dealing with, okay, you see this contextual tool tab tool we have here under the paragraph group is available on a number of the group of tools on the tabs intended for other tools that could affect a text that we're dealing with. So if you want to see exactly what we're talking about, you only need to click on you only need to click on the contextual tool tab to expand those portions of your those portions of tools that are not those particular groups. Okay, it's nothing too complicated because we can't have all of these appearing here. So this is for the paragraph group. We have this for the styles group, and we have it for several other groups. The fonts, we have DS as well. We have the advanced features of the font which we can apply as well, but all of that is not within the scope of this particular lesson, so we're not going to spend much time on that. Okay, our particular interest has to do with the borders and shading group. Now this borders and shading group has a lot to offer. You can choose a line style, you can choose border settings, you can click and change the border location, you can preview the border setting, you can click on buttons or edges of preview, and then you can choose to apply the settings to your paragraph as and how you wish to work on your document. Whatever exactly you wish to do, it's all available for you. Okay, so to access the borders and borders and shading tab, you come to the portion of your home tab where we have, in the paragraph group, we have the borders. This is where we have the borders. Of course, the portion of your text you want to keep under a border must be selected. Else you create a border and then now put in the text or the contents. So you click on the drop down button, and then you can skip all the options of the borders available, and then you can engage the dialog box to get the borders, page border and shading dialog box. And the portions of what you are seeing is what we have labeled in the key text for you, so that you can adjust accordingly and make the needed progress. It's nothing complicated, right? You will need to experience it, change all the features and other portions of it to get used to it. So maybe I should just show you something happening. I selected some text, and so I can pick the border here, and then you see the preview of exactly what is going to happen. You can enforce the border to affect a selected portion of your text. You can let it affect an entire paragraph, like I've just selected here, and you see a sample of what you want. Initially it's a straight line, but if for one reason or the other you wish to select other types of styles, that is also possible. If you want it to be a bit thicker, that is also possible. There are a whole lot of things you can actually do. So when you select, okay, your document looks that nice and beautiful. If I center this, it makes it even much more nicer. And you can keep it like that. So basically this is it, the borders and shading. You can also do a little bit of what we refer to as highlighting of a text. Okay, so it's pretty simple. Also from the font group, you can just select a text or a group of text, and then we have the text highlighting color to highlight. You can alter if you don't select the text, the highlighting will happen. So as you can see, the insertion beam is blinking, but if I go and change the color to something else, it won't change. That's because I've not selected anything. So it is copied to the clipboard. When I select, say, powerful, the color I chose will affect the text by highlighting it. That's also something you should know. You know, when I highlighted provides, you can see the word in it. When I highlighted powerful, even though it's a bit difficult to read, you can still see the black label powerful contained in there. The long and short of this story is that you use this highlighting, it's a transparent color that is applied to the text. So you can use it to highlight anything that you want to do. Right. Highlighting does not print generally. It doesn't. It's just for reading purposes. So that shouldn't be any confusing information. Right. Now we can have what we refer to as tables as well in Microsoft Word. A table is a grid made up of rows and columns. You are familiar with this, okay? And the intersection of these are what we refer to as cells. They are formed at the intersection of these rows and columns. And we can fill them with text, graphics, anything that we can imagine. All of such can fill in those spaces. A cell, as mentioned, is the box formed by the intersection of the column and the row. And then the lines that divide the columns in the row are what we refer to as borders. So by way of demonstration, I can go to a new page or just below this sheet. Okay, so I can go to, so now one clue I will need to draw your attention to when it comes to Microsoft Office is that anything that has to do with an external object that you wish to bring in, an external feature that you want to introduce into your document, it's nothing too complicated or difficult. You just locate the insert tab and it should help you bring that item in there. That one should come on top of your head. Okay, so if we want to apply this knowledge, if I want to insert a table, I just go to the insert group, insert tab, and then identify table button on the ribbon. I can decide the number of rows and columns by using the default option that exists, or you can insert a table and then define portions of it as you would wish to make appear. So if we maintain what we have, then I select OK. You notice that we have a table that is there comprising 5 columns and then 2 rows. You can have as many as possible. At the moment you engage a table, you get a contextual tool tab, all pertains to the table, where you can perform several things as far as a table is concerned. So you get the table design and then you get the layout tabs inclusive. But the moment you move away from it, you notice that those tabs will vanish from your display, but they've just don't gone anywhere. They remain accessible in one form or the other. So what can we do as far as the commands are concerned? Things that we can do surrounds these few things. We can insert table, we can draw table, we can convert text to table, we can have the blank Excel spreadsheet imported, which will form part of our integration bit when we get there. And then we can also have referred to as the quick tables. They come in handy a lot as and when we require the use of them. There are a few things you will need to do for yourself as to how we can add another row to another row. For example, if you pick this table that I just created, I can simply just come to the table. You see this expansion button, click to add another row to below the point where you selected. And it's as simple and straightforward like that. Right. There are other things you can learn to do with rows and columns, and I will leave you to read them. If you have any constraints, you can equally draw my attention. Great. Now there are what we refer to as styles for tables. Styles for tables. Styles for tables. So when your contextual tool tab exposes more features and tools for your document, we have the table design and the layout. Under table design, we have lots of table styles as well, which can be borrowed for various purposes and tasks as far as your document is concerned. So you may want to give it a shot as well. So all you need to do is select the table. Once you select outside the table, the contextual tool tab will vanish. Okay? But once the table is engaged, the contextual tool tab becomes active. You get a design tab and then the layout. Select the table layout, and then under the styles group, you can find suitable style that will work. So as you can see, if I select, it affects the table that I have put together. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward when it comes to tables and their application, right? So how do we import online items? We're talking about ClickArt. ClickArt is actually a collection of graphic images that you can insert in a document. So we have Edge Image Search ClickArts that are images that you can add to a document using the online pictures command on the Insert tab. You can equally also upload new content from the web page into your document. So it's also actually straightforward. You go to the Insert tab, and then you have options to download online video, comments, links, etc., etc. So if you want to add an image, you can go ahead and then pick pictures and then pick from online. If you want to add a smart chart, same procedure, so on and so forth. So depending on what you are working on, you can add any graphic image to your document, and that should be fine. So if I want to pick an online picture, I click on the online picture, try to get some loads from the internet to pop up. Excellent. So they have categorized them in various forms. So like if I select an apple, give me some options of the apple, and then I'll proceed to save it. Now there are limitations if you are trying to upload something directly from your PC or something. Some file recommendation doesn't meet certain minimum size or quality, they would not accept it. It has to be at a particular higher threshold. Great. There are several online pictures we can also leverage on. No two ways about it. Yeah. Okay. So we make progress, and then we can talk about shapes, rectangles, ovals, and so on and so forth. Now, aside from the online files that we can import into a document, we can also add shapes, rectangle, triangle, etc. So I can move this to the next page. I can go to Insert once more, pick some shape from the shapes group, and then put something together. It's very simple. Just go to the Insert, go to your shapes, identify a shape of your choice, and then implement it. You can add text to a shape by right-clicking and edit text. Okay, it's very, very simple. You can add a text right from there, and it's going through something that began like a background or something. We are making text inputs into them. So this is how you assess your shapes. You can get tons of shapes in the shapes art. Yeah. In the shapes art, you have lots of them to try your hands on. So that's very important. You acquaint yourself and make use of it. Okay, so this session was pretty simple and straightforward. Whatever remains there is very easy to complete. If you have completed the reading assignment, this should be pretty simple for you. On that note, we end it for this particular session.